In the morning sun is a firmness of purpose in the air, and in the night stars settle uncertainty's curiosity. On this journey mishaps occur, sometimes to one's favour. It all unfolds with an idea in mind that deviates in time. There is chance on all bends and ports, with any question, an opening and closure. The chance to see light for its purpose appears, and the night is the unanswered question. It was a custom-built experience, with equipment and skill set in our favour. Bikes built in the workshop and painted parallel to the boards being shaped. Along the roads and aboard boats, we'd ride through fields to surf the passes of reefs and beaches. We personalised boards to ride these waves, overhead, fast, tubing in the distance. Shaping was the only way to get better at surfing once upon a time, and shaping is the only way to personify your surfing still. Victor and Yono worked in sync in the heat of the night, side by side, taping up laps, cutting, sanding and fillering. Experience was on our side.
That's good?
With time to kill and the bikes and boards built, we tested them out close by to identify any possible faults in the shapes and tune up any indifferences on the bikes. The waves were head high and in classic Indonesian shape, a perfect peaky left and right beach break. As the tide rushed in, the swell began to increase. The journey was about to begin. Indonesia still homes some of the early explorers. We were looking to re-embark on some of their steps, to understand a part of the experience they once had. The notorious jungle missions with bare minimum supplies were running through our minds. Motorbikes made a lot of locations discoverable, so we rode in homage to encounter the villages and people along the way. It wasn't perfection we were looking for, just continuing to search, to acknowledge, experience and preserve a continuation of exploration and mapping, surfing and shaping, writing and reading. Stories that are passed down through generations were once visualised. Now we'd experience a part of that firsthand. We set out in the morning, prepared and equipped for the 8-hour journey. In the countryside of southwest Bali, we rode through the last of the Hindu culture. The ferry into East Java was short and convenient for a rest. It lugged our bikes and us, plus another dozen trucks and cars. For this part, we sat on the side rails looking out to sea. By early evening, after riding through ports and cities, Victor chauffeured us up into the hills, to the high villages where his family lived. They welcomed us with dinner. As we were taking it in, it began to feel like we were far from condensed Bali. A southwest swell between 225 and 240 degrees was on the maps, heading up the Indian Ocean. We were blaring through traffic and on the highways, at an average of 60 to 80 kilometres per hour on bikes. The period of the swell was at 20 seconds, which meant the waves in that swell were travelling at 60 nautical miles per hour. We were essentially chasing the swell. Before we left, it was advised that any west in the swell limited the wave's potential, and with the extensive popularity for particular breaks across Indonesia, we were confident the crowds wouldn't be an issue for us. The tide was an important factor, so it was that which would conduct our arrival. Almost just smashed it on the rocks. What? Almost just smashed on the rocks. Interested to see these things. The degree they help. Couple good surfers out there. There's a lot. There's a couple. In the end, all the hype was dismissed. It was an experience that had no exact goal. We surfed G-land until we couldn't paddle anymore, and with exhaustion we retired ourselves to land. The swell had decreased all day, and as the ocean calmed, our tempo did too.
Wave at me. Wow.
By afternoon we rowed towards the middle of the bay. The sun was peering to set, and as it did, the lip of a left-hand reef glistened. We surfed until there was little light left, 4 of us out, and no one dared to question it. One by one we came into shore. A fire burned the driftwood which had been swept up from the swell. We stood around it until mosquitoes swarmed upon us. We had experienced a piece of G-land, where old men hadn't retired to smaller waves at all, chasing swells as they would have in their youth. A place where people came to be away from civilization, to exist amongst a wave that has been mystified and fanatically spoken about for decades. We left early next morning. Everyone went separate ways. Jared decided to stay in Java and make his way to Sumbawa. Tom and I rode back to Bali, and it wasn't until we arrived back in Bali that we spoke. It was an 8-hour journey of reflection, and with little doubt we'd found what we were looking for.